Early morning warfare, there is something about the early morning before the noise begins, before the world wakes up, before distractions rise like a storm. There is a sacred window, a moment where heaven listens more closely, where the atmosphere is thinner, and where battle are decided before the day even starts. This is not just morning, this is warfare time. Because whether you realize it or not, every day is a battlefield. There are forces that don't want you to rise, there are pressures that don't want you to succeed, there are unseen resistances that fight your peace, your purpose, your destiny. And if you don't rise early to take authority, you will spend the rest of the day reacting instead of ruling. Listen carefully. Victory is not accidental. Victory is prepared, and it is prepared in the place of prayer. When you wake up early, you are making a declaration. I will not be controlled by my circumstances. I will not be delayed by weakness. I will not be silenced by fear. You are stepping into a higher dimension of living because early morning prayer is not just devotion. It is alignment asked with strength, aligned with clarity, aligned with power. Some people wake up and check their phone, but warriors wake up and check their spirit. They ask, am I ready for today? Am I strong enough for what is coming? Have I taken my position in the unseen realm? Because what happens in the unseen always manifests in the seen. These 30 minutes, they may look small, but they carry the weight of your entire day. 30 minutes can shift your mindset. 30 minutes can silence anxiety. 30 minutes can break invisible chains. 30 minutes can release courage you didn't know you had. In these moments, you don't pray casually, you pray intentionally. You speak life where there has been doubt. You declare strength where there has been weakness. You call order into chaos. You don't whisper your fears, you confront them. You don't negotiate with negativity, you reject it because this is warfare. And warfare requires focus, no distractions, no laziness, no hesitation. You rise with purpose. Even when your body says sleep, your spirit says rise. Even when it feels difficult, you push through because discipline in the morning creates dominion in the day. Let me tell you something powerful. The difference between those who drift and those who dominate is what they do when the day begins. In those 30 minutes, you are building something invisible but unstoppable. You are building resilience. You are building clarity. You are building spiritual strength. And strength is not built in comfort, it is built in commitment. There will be days you don't feel like it, days when your mind is tired, days when your body is heavy, days when motivation is nowhere to be found. But those are the most important days to show up because consistency breaks resistance. When you pray early, you are not chasing the day, you are leading it. You are saying, today will not control me, I will control today. And something shifts. Your thoughts become sharper, your emotions become calmer, your decisions become wiser. Why? Because you didn't step into the day empty. You stepped in charged. Early morning warfare is not about noise, it is about authority. It is about knowing that you are not weak, you are not lost, you are not powerless, you are equipped. So take those 30 minutes seriously. Guard them, protect them, honor them, because what you do in that quiet space will echo throughout your entire life. Rise early, stand firm, pray with intention, and watch how everything begins to change. Because those who win the morning win the day. There is a moment before the world begins to move, a sacred pause where everything is still, where noise has not yet taken its place, and where distractions have not yet found their voice. In that moment, early in the morning, there is an advantage that many overlook but few who discover it ever abandon. It is not just a time on the clock. It is a window of opportunity, a gateway into clarity, strength, and direction. The early morning carries a unique atmosphere that cannot be replicated later in the day. It is quiet, undisturbed, and open, and in that stillness, a person can truly hear, truly think, and truly prepare. When you rise early, you step into a space that is uncontested. No demands are pulling at you, no messages are waiting for replies, no responsibilities are pressing on your mind. It is just you and that silence. And within that silence lies power. because clarity is born in quietness. When everything around you is calm, your thoughts begin to settle. Confusion loses its grip and direction starts to form. What felt overwhelming the night before suddenly becomes manageable. What seemed complicated begins to simplify. This is the advantage of the early morning. It gives you the ability to see before you act, to understand before you decide, and to prepare before you engage. The problem with rushing into the day without this moment is that you enter already behind. The world starts speaking before you have gathered your own thoughts. Situations begin to shape your mood before you have decided your attitude. Challenges arise before you have strengthened your mind. And so, instead of leading your day, you begin reacting to it. But when you take hold of the early morning, you reverse that order. You don't step into chaos unprepared. You step into it already grounded, already focused, already aware of who you are and what you intend to do. There is something powerful about beginning your day intentionally. It sets a tone that carries through every hour that follows. When you use the early morning to focus, you are not just preparing for tasks, you are preparing your mindset. You are deciding how you will respond to pressure, how you will handle difficulty, and how you will carry yourself through uncertainty. This preparation is invisible, but its effects are undeniable. It shows up in your patience when others are frustrated, in your confidence when situations are unclear, and in your discipline when distractions arise. The early morning is also a time where energy is fresh and undivided. Later in the day, your attention is scattered. You have already given pieces of yourself to conversations, responsibilities, and problems. But in the morning, you are whole. Your mind is not yet crowded, your focus is not yet broken, and your strength is not yet drained. This makes it the perfect time to invest in what truly matters. When you use this time wisely, you are giving your best energy to your priorities instead of your leftovers. It is in this time that you can build yourself from within. You can strengthen your thoughts, align your intentions, and remind yourself of your purpose. You can confront doubts before they grow, address fears before they take hold, and establish confidence before it is tested. This is what makes the early morning a place of advantage. It allows you to deal with things at their root before they manifest throughout your day. Many people underestimate how much the beginning of the day influences the rest of it. They treat the morning casually, rushing through it or ignoring it altogether. But the truth is, the start of your day is like the foundation of a structure. If it is weak, everything built on it becomes unstable. If it is strong, everything that follows gains support. What you do in those early moments is not isolated. It echoes into every decision, every interaction, and every outcome you experience. When you take time in the morning to center yourself, you are not wasting time. You are investing it. You are choosing preparation over panic, clarity over confusion, and control over chaos. You are setting yourself up to move through the day with intention rather than drifting through it without direction. And this difference, though it may seem small at first, compounds over time. Days become more productive, decisions become more precise, and your sense of control becomes stronger. There is also a discipline required to embrace the early morning, and that discipline itself becomes part of the advantage. Waking up early is not always easy. It requires you to push past comfort, to resist the urge to stay where it is easy, and to choose growth over convenience. But every time you make that choice, you are strengthening your ability to lead yourself. You are proving that you are not controlled by impulses or feelings, but by purpose and commitment. This self leadership begins to reflect in other areas of your life, creating a pattern of consistency and strength. The beauty of the early morning is that it belongs entirely to you. It is not claimed by anyone else, not shaped by external pressures, and not limited by interruptions. It is a space where you can think deeply, plan clearly, and prepare fully. And when you consistently take advantage of this time, you begin to notice a shift. Your days feel less rushed, your mind feels less scattered, and your actions feel more deliberate. This is not about doing more, it is about doing better. It is about approaching your day from a position of readiness rather than scrambling to catch up. It is about stepping into your responsibilities with clarity instead of confusion. It is about moving through your day with confidence instead of uncertainty. What you do in the early morning does not stay in the morning. It carries forward, it shapes your mindset, influences your behavior, and determines how you experience everything that follows. That quiet time, free from distractions, becomes the training ground for your focus, the foundation of your discipline, and the source of your clarity. And when you begin to treat it with importance, when you begin to guard it and use it intentionally, you will see that it is not just a routine, it is an advantage, a powerful, consistent, and transformative advantage that sets you apart, strengthens your foundation, and prepares you to face whatever the day may bring with steadiness, awareness, and control. There is a discipline that separates those who are easily shaken from those who remain steady, and often it is found in what they choose to do consistently, even when no one is watching. 30 minutes may not seem like much in the scale of a full day, but when those minutes are set aside with intention, they begin to carry a weight far greater than their duration. They become a place where strength is formed, where control is established, and where the inner life is built before the outer life is tested. When you commit to 30 minutes of focused prayer, you are doing more than speaking words. You are training your mind, aligning your thoughts, and reinforcing your sense of purpose. At first, it may feel like an effort. Your mind may wander, your body may resist, and distractions may try to pull you away. But every time you bring your focus back, every time you choose to stay present, you are strengthening something within you. You are building discipline, and discipline is not formed in comfort. It is formed in consistency. This consistency begins to shape your character. It teaches you to stay committed even when you don't feel like it. It shows you that you can push beyond your initial resistance and remain steady in your intention. And this ability does not remain confined to those 30 minutes. It begins to influence how you approach everything else. You become less reactive, less impulsive, and more grounded in your decisions. There is also a strengthening that takes place internally. Life has a way of presenting unexpected challenges, pressures, and moments of uncertainty. Without preparation, these moments can feel overwhelming. But when you have spent time in intentional reflection and prayer, you are not meeting these situations empty. You are meeting them with a sense of calm, with clarity, and with an inner stability that has already been established. You are not trying to find your footing in the middle of the storm because you have already grounded yourself beforehand. 30 minutes of prayer creates a space where you can confront your thoughts honestly. It allows you to recognize what is weighing on you before it begins to affect your actions. Instead of carrying unaddressed stress into your day, you release it. Instead of ignoring doubts, you face them. Instead of allowing fear to grow quietly, you bring it into the open and deal with it. This process builds confidence, not a loud or boastful confidence, but a quiet assurance that you are prepared to handle whatever comes your way. Control does not come from forcing situations to go your way. It comes from mastering your response to them. And this is where those 30 minutes become powerful. They help you develop awareness of your reactions. They give you the ability to pause, to think, and to choose your response instead of being driven by impulse. Over time, you begin to notice that things which once frustrated you no longer have the same effect. Situations that once caused anxiety now feel manageable. This is not because the challenges have disappeared, but because you have changed. There is also a sense of order that begins to develop. When you take time to intentionally focus, your thoughts become less scattered. You begin to see priorities more clearly. You understand what truly matters and what does not deserve your energy. This clarity helps you move through your day with purpose rather than confusion. You are not pulled in every direction by every demand because you have already centered yourself. What makes this practice even more powerful is its cumulative effect. One day of prayer may bring a sense of peace, but repeated daily, it begins to reshape how you think and respond. It becomes a foundation that supports you over time. You start to notice that your patience increases, your focus improves, and your resilience grows stronger. You are not as easily discouraged, and you recover more quickly from setbacks. This is the result of consistently investing in your inner strength. There will be moments when maintaining this practice feels difficult. There will be days when you feel too tired, too busy, or too distracted. But those are often the moments when it matters most. Choosing to remain committed during those times reinforces your discipline and deepens your strength. It proves that your actions are not dependent on your feelings, but on your purpose. As you continue, those 30 minutes begin to feel less like an obligation and more like a necessity. You start to recognize their value not just as a routine, but as a source of stability. You realize that stepping into your day without this preparation feels different, less centered, less clear, less controlled. And so you return to it, not because you have to, but because you understand what it gives you. In a world that constantly demands your attention and tests your patience, having a space where you can regain focus and strengthen your inner self becomes essential. Those 30 minutes become that space. They allow you to step back, to realign, and to prepare yourself fully. And when you carry that preparation into your day, it changes how you move, how you think, and how you respond. You are no longer simply reacting to whatever comes your way. You are steady, you are aware, you are prepared. And in that preparation, you find a level of control that cannot be easily shaken because it has been built intentionally, one focused moment at a time.